Most people ask, how much do I need to retire? But after retiring at 51, I realized that's actually the wrong question. The real question is, how will the money actually hit my bank account every month without a corporate paycheck? Today, I'm breaking down the four specific streams I use to fund my life. I'm not sharing exact dollar amounts because those change, but I am sharing the structure and the mindset. If you want to know how a former HR executive builds a bulletproof retirement, stay tuned. When I walked away from my career, my goal wasn't a magic net worth number, it was stability. I look at my income like a four-legged stool. If one leg wobbles, the stool still stands. For me, those four legs are my pension, my 457 plan, my rental property, and YouTube and content creation. The best part of these four streams isn't the money, it's the time. Whether it's being there for kids or helping out with aging parents, this structure gives me the one thing that corporate America couldn't. It gave me my schedule back. Each one serves a very specific psychological and financial purpose. Let's start with the foundation, the pension. This is my floor. It's predictable, it's monthly, and it doesn't care if the S&P 500 is up or down. In the HR world, we call this a defined benefit for a reason. The benefit is defined. The emotional relief of knowing your basic bills are covered before you even wake up in the first of the month is the ultimate stress reducer. But here's the reality. Pensions usually aren't enough on their own. They're the foundation, not the whole house. Next is my 457 plan. Throughout my career as a chief HR executive, I saw so many employees overlook this tool, and it's a shame because for early retirees, it's a total game changer. For my Gen X peers, the 457 plan is the missing link. We were told to just max out a 401k and wait until 65. But if you want to get out in your 50s like I did, you need a bridge. In HR, we call the 457 the early exit account. It's the key to the lock that keeps most people stuck in their cubes until they retire at 67. Unlike a 401k or 403b, a 457 plan generally allows you to take distributions at any age once you separate from the employer, without that stinging 10% early withdrawal penalty. I view this as my bridge account. It provides the liquidity and flexibility I need to bridge the gap between age 51 and when other accounts like my 401k, Social Security, or other age-based accounts kick in. While the pension is my stability, the 457 is my flexibility. The third stream is a rental property. Now let's be honest, I don't call this passive income. In HR terms, I call it intermittent effort. Some months it's a breeze, other months it's a capital expenditure project. However, I keep it for one major reason: inflation. Rents and property values tend to rise over time, which protects my purchasing power better than cash ever really could. It adds growth and diversification to the mix. Before I get to the most surprising stream, I want to hear from you. If you could add just one side stream to your retirement plan today, would it be real estate, a small business, or something creative? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious what you're building. The fourth stream is where you are right now, YouTube. This one is unique because it's not just about the money, it's about purpose. In fact, folks, when I started the YouTube channel, I started the YouTube channel with no idea that I can actually get paid doing it because I just wanted to share the information. But it turns out that as people watch and you get the ads that you see at intermittent spots in my videos, I get paid a little bit for each ad that people watch. And that's a great way to make a little bit of side money. And I know as I've researched it a lot more, there's a lot of people that are making six-figure salaries just on YouTube alone. I don't want to get into that kind of situation necessarily. Well, if they force me to take it, I'm going to take it. Let's keep it a buck. But I don't necessarily drive or I'm not motivated by making money off of YouTube. But I'll tell you what, it's nice. It's good casino money. And that's exactly what I use it for. Retirement doesn't mean you stop being productive. It means you choose the way you enjoy your time. And the income here can vary widely, so I never rely on it for my mortgage. I look at it as bonus income that funds my hobbies and my travel, some of my golf, and so on. More importantly, it keeps me engaged and allows me to share my life experience with you. So, to wrap it up, here's how the strategy actually balances out. My pension is equal to my safety floor. My 457 plan is the liquidity bridge. And when I talk about liquidity, one of the questions that I get quite often is, how do you pay for your life if you can't withdraw from your 401k? Am I taking early 401k withdrawals and so on? And the answer is no, because I don't want to pay a 10% penalty. In fact, you're looking at a guy that doesn't even go to out of network ATMs because I don't want to pay the $5 fee. I would rather not pay the $5 fee or any other fee for that matter. The only fee that I pay willingly is interest on my home. And that's because it's tax deductible. If the interest isn't tax deductible, I'm not paying it. Unless, of course, I the amount of the interest rate is less than what I would get on investment returns based on the size of the return. For example, I have a sub 3% interest rate on my house, so I keep that money invested and that money continues to grow. So the interest is paid by the investment returns. I'll be honest with you. I had those conversations and they still, as the kids would say, low key, don't necessarily track with me all the time. It's not as intuitive as I want it to be, but I actually end up on top because I'm able to keep the money invested as opposed to pulling out big amounts to pay for some of these bills. I have my rental property, and that's my inflation hedge. I get the interest deduction on the interest. I get the deduction on the, not the improvements, but the repairs. That's a whole tax thing that I won't go into. It's a little bit convoluted, and those of you that own rental properties know. If you change one window, then you could write it off on your taxes. Or if you change all of the windows, then you have to depreciate it off the value of your house over the 28-year period that you depreciate. And that's a whole other conversation. And again, that gets really complicated. But overall, after having the rental property for 10 years, I have a tax deduction that makes me a little bit of money. I'm not getting rich on the rental property. And the goal isn't to get rich on the rental property because we want to make sure that the rental property provides affordable housing to people that need it while benefiting us from a tax shelter perspective. And YouTube really gives me my creative fulfillment. I had this conversation with my best friend and I told him I don't understand what a creative is. And he told me that I was a creative. I think I'm a creative, I guess. I just like sharing stories and talking to people and helping people understand things that maybe they didn't understand. I do get a little geeked out about all this YouTube stuff. You could see my lights, the camera, the microphone, the two dope boys in a Cadillac. I'm just kidding. But you could see that over time I've improved it because I enjoy that piece of it. And maybe that's part of the creative outlet. But the fact that I could come on here, talk to a million of my closest friends about something that's incredibly important to me that I didn't have the opportunity to have conversations about when I was younger is in a way that is in my own voice. I suppose that's a creative outlet. I suppose there's some creativity there, but it does give me that fulfillment because I really enjoy getting on this camera a few times a week and the editing process and the different things that I could do in the editing process because every edit isn't the same and I try different things all the time. So, okay, it's creative fulfillment because this is a creative process. My best friend was right. I'm a creative. I'll move on. But no single source carries all the weight. And the balance is what keeps me comfortable and helps me sleep at night. I know that if there's an issue with one, I have another and so on. And I think for those of us out there, particularly those of us in Gen X that are getting to that age where you lose your job, it becomes hard to get another job. Look at your life in terms of how much you need on a monthly basis to survive and think about piecing those pieces together. No one of the things that I laid out covers all of my expenses, but if you take them piece by piece over time, then that will cover my expenses. So when I'm able to withdraw from my 401k, that will be another area that I could use to offload something else. So I could stop doing the YouTube channel. Nah, just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But it lightens the load on other things. Then I'll get to my 60s where I have Social Security. And then I have a pension that's going to kick in when I turn 65. So there's all of these things and that they cascade over time to build the egg or the streams that I need in order to be able to afford the life that I want to live in my early retirement. And the longer I can keep my money in my investments, the longer I will be able to have them continue to grow over time. And because I have such a conservative expectation of about 4 to 6% for my investments, anything over that is gravy. So look, if you're Gen X like me, you probably spent the last 25 or 30 years being the reliable one at work, for your kids, and likely for your aging parents. We're told to put our heads down, max out the 401k, and wait until we're 65. But I'm here to tell you, as a former chief human resources executive who saw behind the curtain, you don't have to wait for a gold watch at 65 to start living. Early retirement isn't about some lucky crypto win or magic formula. It's about building a bridge that allows you to walk away from the stress while you're still young enough to enjoy the health and your family. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need a diversified one. If you're ready to stop being the executive or stop being the worker and start being the everyday retiree, let me know in the comments. What's the number one thing stopping you from exiting the grind right now? Is it health insurance? Is it the 10% penalty? Or just not knowing where the first check comes from? Let's talk about it below. So this is going to be a short one today, folks, but I want to make sure that all of you know that it's never my expectation that everybody retire early, but it is my expectation that you live your best life. So on that note, have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.